You've got Nigel Farage, I think, is dead in the water. I think this £5 million bung he took from this crypto tycoon in Thailand.
He described it as a personal gift.
I described it as a bum. And he took this money. He still can't get his story straight about why. Originally, it was for personal security. Then it was a reward for Brexit. Now he says it's just a gift and he can spend it on Ferraris, like all men of the people would say. I think you can see how rattled he is by the questions he's getting. They're not going to go away. Okay. I think he will be found guilty by the Parliament investigation.
We've no idea what the commission
I'm just saying what I think is going to happen.
Sure, fair enough. Okay. I want to come back to the election point.
My point is this. So his main opponent, who he's just beaten in this by-election, Reform, I think are in real trouble. I think the leader's going to have to go. I also think Reform and Restore, as we've already seen, eat each other alive. I think with the Conservatives,
a convicted money launderer, a crypto gambling empire, and the leader of Reform UK sleeping in a 5-story townhouse he did not pay for. No, this is not a Netflix thriller. This is Tuesday in British politics. Quick favour before we dive in. If you are enjoying this, hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell. Over 90% of you watching right now have not yet, and it costs nothing, takes 1 second, and genuinely helps this channel keep digging where others will not. Thank you. Now, back to the chaos.
So let's just deal with Mr. Nigel Farage. You are telling me that this Mr. George Cottrell is just some acquaintance. He doesn't, you tell me, pay for Mr. Farage's bodyguards and so on and so forth. Do you think...
So what's the story then?
You're telling me that. You've conceded that... I haven't conceded anything.
George Cottrell is an old friend of Nigel's. He's allowed to have friends. And that he supported him before he became a Member of Parliament. Doesn't do so now. What's the story? There is no story here. This is just yet another in a whole chain of smears that's trying to drag Nigel down.
So here is the story shaking Westminster this week. Piers Morgan, a man who rarely holds back an opinion, has publicly called for Nigel Farage to be removed as leader of Reform UK. Why? Because Farage failed to disclose a rather significant detail. A convicted criminal turned cryptocurrency gambling figure had been quietly funding his operation, a full year before he won his seat in Clacton-on-Sea. Morgan did not tiptoe around it either. First post on social media platform X read, quote, "The bungs keep on coming." 40 minutes later, a second post landed, quote, "He has to go." Blunt, brutal, very Piers.
Well, if you tell me what happened with the £5 million, then we're solved.
It's an unconditional gift. I can spend it on Ferraris if I want. That'd be entirely up to me.
Why did you say it was for personal security then?
Because it was given as an unconditional gift, right? The understanding is, and you know very well, I've been physically more attacked over many years than any other politician.
I've been with you when you've been abused. I've seen that. But my listeners want to know, Mr. Farage, how much has been spent?
Nick, I can do with it as I want. I can do what I want with it. Well, I can put it on the horses.
Yes, you are under review, though, by the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner.
Well, and maybe we shouldn't be discussing it in that case. But what I will say to you is, I know that I will need protection until I die.
Right.
I've no idea how long that will be. None of us do. But I know that it's damned expensive, and I now don't have to worry or even think about that, because repeatedly over the years, when I've asked for help from the state, I've been refused.
So it was a reward for personal security?
Sorry, Nick, you're confusing two things. One is the money comes in, the other is where it goes, right? I can do with it as I wish, but I know myself what it's for.
Josh.
Now, let us talk about the man at the centre of this, George Cottrell, previously jailed in the United States for his role in a money laundering conspiracy. According to reporting from the Sunday Times, Farage has been staying in a townhouse rented by Cottrell and has also received accommodation, drivers and security funded by him. Under parliamentary rules, that sort of support usually needs declaring. Farage says it does not apply because it happened before he became a sitting politician. Convenient timing, some might say. Here is where it gets even juicier. Cottrell is tied to Tether.bet, an offshore cryptocurrency gambling platform. Wealthy British clients were reportedly directed to deposit funds through two companies, one linked to a Reform employee who happens to be the party's data protection officer, the other connected to a consultant living near Cottrell in Worcestershire. Neither man wished to comment.
Over the years, I want to say this to you. I don't believe I've broken any rules of any kind at all, but it is, as you rightly say, under investigation.
What's it like to get a £5 million gift, though? How do you celebrate?
But I tell you what.
Is it like winning the lottery?
I tell you what, it is in a way. I tell you what, you should ask me. Why is it I'm the only MP with zero public expenses? Zero. I haven't claimed a penny off the taxpayer for any personal expenses since I got elected. So there you go.
Was that because you had a £5 million gift?
I chose not to take the money.
But I would think, a £5 million gift, how many MPs could that pay for?
Oh, there are plenty of MPs that have got more than that.
And what did you spend it on?
I haven't.
You haven't spent a penny of the £5 million?
I've lived...
Big nest egg.
I've lived with more physical attacks on me than any other politician alive in Britain today. The state has consistently refused to provide me with any protection at all. Sadly, given how divisive politics is, I will need that for the rest of my days. I now don't need to worry about that.
So it's like a pension?
I will need to be looked after for the rest of my life. Having proper security is very expensive. And if I live to a ripe old age, I will need it.
So you're going to spend £5 million on security
I tell you what,
to pay for security until you retire?
I have, until I die is what I said.
Until you die? OK. So, and you've spent none of it yet? But there's a £5 million nest egg to pay for your security until you die?
This was given to me as a gift. It's unconditional. I can do with it as I wish. Right? I can spend it on cars if I wish, but I'm not going to. There's a very specific purpose. And, I've always been the outsider in politics. And the fact that for year after year, whilst I was being physically attacked, the state refused to provide me.
Farage insists nothing improper has occurred, describing Cottrell as a close friend rather than a financial patron. Reform's official response was equally sharp, dismissing the entire story as baseless, pointing out the Sunday Times backed Labour at the last election, and even taking a cheeky swipe at the newspaper's new podcast. So, where does this leave Reform? A party built on the promise of straight talking, transparency, and shaking up Westminster, now facing questions about undisclosed funding and dodgy associations. The very thing they promised to clean up. Whether this fades into another news cycle or becomes the crack that widens, one thing is certain. In British politics, the plot never rests for long. Thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you in the next one.